Marginimea Sibiului is a region in Transylvania, at the edge of the Carpathian Mountains.
Rising sun hits the sky, see it open before us. Take these hopes, hold them high, every step takes you closer.
With 18 villages that share the same traditions, architecture and history, which makes this area a unique ethnographic region with a rich natural and cultural capital. Marginimea Sibiului spreads over an area of 140,000 hectares and gathers more than 40,000 inhabitants. The area has a rich history in sheep breeding. If in the past the shepherds would travel all the way to Crimea during the transhumance period, today some of them have settled and still practice the local shepherding at the sheepfolds in the Carpathian Mountains. You can still see an authentic rural life while visiting this region. The shepherds from Marginimea Sibiului are well known in Romania because of the varieties of sheep cheese and sheep meat products that are made here. In the upland pasture of Marginimea Sibiului in the Carpathian Mountains, the local shepherds continue to use ancestral recipes to produce various sheep cheese products. The traditional products from this area not only reflect the richness of its lands, but also the region's cultural diversity. In fact, in 2015, Marginimea Sibiului won the title European Destination of Excellence in Tourism and Local Gastronomy. From an architectural point of view, the villages were not affected by the communistic program of village renewal. Thus, one can find here rural endemic ensembles with an authentic everyday life. Nature is all life on earth. Without nature, we cannot exist. This is why we need protected areas. More than 55% of Marginimea Sibiului is part of a great European network of natural protected areas called Natura 2000 site. Natura 2000 area is home to 25 species of flora and fauna protected under Habitat Directive and 11 species of birds of European interest protected under Bird Directive. Also, more than 7% of this region is subject to a highly protective regime due to 2 natural reserves of national interest. One natural reservation includes a glacier landscape with 2 beautiful glacier lakes that are home to various aquatic species of flora and fauna. Frumosa meaning the beauty. The name of the Natura 2000 site itself reflects the beauty and the rich biodiversity of these areas. The area was designated for the protection of 11 habitats of community interest, such as bushes with Pinus mugo and rhododendron, or habitats with species-rich Narcissus grasslands. Rare peat-forming communities developed next to water surfaces with a large and diverse range of plant communities which are also found here. The other natural reservation includes relict species such as Pinus cembra. The largest undivided surface of spruce forest in Romania is situated in this region. This large surface of forest offers optimal conditions for species such as large carnivores, bears, wolves, and lynx, or for species of birds like mountain rooster or woodpeckers and many species of forest fruits and mushrooms. For grazing, the shepherds travel with the sheep through the Carpathian Mountains. This activity had an important role in shaping the mountain landscape and biodiversity we see today.
Marginimea Sibiului is part of a great natural area in the Carpathian Mountains in Transylvania. It's part of the European network of protected areas called Natura 2000. This Natura 2000 site is home to 11 habitats of community importance, 25 species of flora, fauna and birds, and it's also home to the largest undivided spruce forest in Romania. This spruce forest offers optimal conditions for the development of species such as bears, wolves or lynx. It is worth to mention here that Romania has half of the population of bears, wolves and lynx of Europe. And this is an indicator of wilderness and rich biodiversity.
In this fascinating scenario, with authentic villages and beautiful mountains, ecotourism is slowly taking the lead.
So having this beautiful scenery, we imagined how we can attract more people doing things that they do already in their region, but doing them in our territory, in the mountains. And we are organizing now through a lot of partners 3 different mountain running contests, and they are actually kind of adapted to the territory. One is starting in Rășinari and it goes like a loop around the village. The other one is starting in Păltiniș and it goes towards the Cindrel Peak. And the third one is going starting from Râul Sadului and also reaching the Rășinari neighborhood. Each time I think of the Marginimea, the idea is that I imagine the vast landscape with a lot of green, and we use a lot of either food just to attract the people in the area. But what we want to show them is our terroir, and we hike with them, we go with them in very beautiful spots just to explain them how the nature looks like and how the food grows in the landscape we are talking about. We are thinking about a lot of products from the animals, but also a lot of things which we receive from the forest. Just imagine that gastronomy means the play with nature and what people are doing. The cultural side is what we look to open up for our visitors in the Marginimea Sibiului. Ecotourism means for me also a lot of connecting with the people, connecting with the local values, and hearing a lot of stories about what we do there and what we find to be nice, to be showable for others, and we are actually living a lot of time outside, in and between the villages, and the whole area is very nicely located at the foothills of the South Carpathians, and we connect also a lot with the life in the village and the life on the mountains. So this going up and down is what we do at almost all our tours or hikings, and it brings us a lot of joy. It makes us and our visitors very happy. And we have a lot of seasons. You can do the same thing in the winter time and do it on snowshoes or just go on a ski tour, or you can do it between April and November, just hiking in the woods or hiking outside. The whole area is very easy to access. We are very close to Sibiu, and it's a perfect area to live and to visit also. So what we do for the last 13 years is that we go almost every weekend in another village. We look for the people of the village who are producing food and those who are cooking. And we organize on almost every weekend of the year the so-called Transylvanian brunch. We cook with the vicinity. The vicinity is a social kind of structure where people work together. They work together for good and for worse, so they cook either for burials or for weddings and baptizes, and you get to know how the people are working in the village. We invite people from outside our area, from bigger cities in Romania or from neighborhooding localities, and people are just coming to taste what a village has to offer. And after the gastronomy part, we take them on a small tour to the village to understand why the food has the taste it has, or why some particular things are attached to the food we serve them. So the Transylvanian brunches have also a specific kind of event for the Marginimea Sibiului. It's called Picnic in Cindrel. We serve the same kind of food, but people just take it in the backpack and we hike with them. So we eat outside a nice picnic.
Activities such as eco-brunches are really successful. Tourists gather together and taste delicious local products. This activity is combined with sightseeing activities in nature, with cooking demonstrations, sport activities, or a ride with a local tram. The tram line was built by the locals more than 70 years ago. It was the first tram line that connected a town with a rural village in Romania. Today, the tram is an attraction, especially for children. Now it's mostly used for tourists or sometimes even as a stage for artistic events performed by the local theater and artists.
Marginimea Sibiului is located in the center of the country, in the south of Transylvania. There are 18 villages and most of 40,000 inhabitants, and the most important activity in this area was raising sheep. In every villages we have a local market where the local producers sell their product. Most of them product of meat and milk. Of course, they sell also vegetables or fresh fruits. The visitor can following the route of cheese in Marginimea Sibiului and they can participate in a series of events in our area, like cheese and brandy festival in Reșinari, Shepherds festival in Tilișca and Poiana Sibiului, the gathering of youth in Săliște, Wild Pony in Gura Râului, Sadule Proudly Garden in Sadu, or in Râul Sadului, Polenta and Cheese Festival.
Sheep cheese is par excellence, part of this region's culinary and cultural tradition, and its diversity is given by its mountain pastures and ancestral production techniques. Sheep products are celebrated annually in festivals that aim to enhance the local economy by bringing together local farmers, folk dancing groups, and tourists.
Beautiful landscape, authentic villages can be a good reason to everybody to come in Marginimea Sibiului.
Cooking demonstrations are another important activity that have a positive impact on the development of ecotourism. For instance, delicious sheep cheese and dill pie made by the locals gather every year in June, families with children that all enjoy a beautiful day together. The making of delicious polenta with old sheep cheese, butter and ham is another activity that's very loved by children.
Marginimea Sibiului has always been known in Romania as a landmark of culinary traditions and local gastronomy. People here are friendly and will welcome you with a warm smile and a lot of hospitality. It's the village's fairy tales, the kindness of the locals, the fresh mountain air, the returning to nature and peace, that pure spirit which can only be found in the traditional village. It's just the place where you want to be.
In Marginimea Sibiului, culture always had a major role. From theater plays to festivals and events related to local traditions and culture, they all take place here.
A lot of cultural activities are happening in Marginimea Sibiului, so come and enjoy your time there. It's a beautiful view. So if you are lucky, maybe you will see a traditional wedding on the Rășinar street.
When you visit Marginimea Sibiului, it will be easy to find your way. Discover the wonderful world of the village fairy tales, or try scanning the QR codes placed on the cultural objectives in Rășinari. For hiking lovers, apps like View Ranger or Komoot can be very useful while visiting Marginimea Sibiului. You will easily find a way to hike from one village to another through beautiful natural paths.
We have a club, we have an organization in our village in Rășinari for students where they promote the treasures of the village and of the surroundings. This is why we have Questo in Rășinar from now. We have a mobile application where tourists can visit the place using it. So it's something like a treasure hunt. You can visit the more important cultural objectives from the village. You can discover stories, you can discover legends, you can discover food, one of the most important things that we are very, very proud of. And you can discover people from there.
What's fascinating about Marginimea Sibiului is the fact that the country life is so authentic, so pure, so real that it's almost hard to believe.
It's the sky, see it open before us. Take these hopes, hold them high. Every step takes you closer.
Marginimea Sibiului, the land of the Carpathian shepherds, is a must-see while in Romania.
It's all waiting for us. Every turn a living color. Heaven knows what we'll discover. A story.
Marginimea Sibiului, the land of the Carpathian shepherds.
For the taking.
Open fields, distant shores, every